Hello, this is Diann from DiannAbroad.com. Happy to see you and hear you today. Happy that you can hear me. It's the 20th of March, 2017. It's 8:30. I'm in Bogota, Colombia. It's dark, so I'm inside. And this is Diann at DiannAbroad.com, DIANN at DiannAbroad.com. That's my website. And you can email me at Diann at DiannAbroad.com. I'm here in Bogota, Colombia. I have been here for about 4 days. I will leave in 2 days for 2016. I was in Auschwitz in August of 2016. If you haven't been to Auschwitz, you need to go. Have you been to Auschwitz? It is not fun in Auschwitz, but a lot of what we do and a lot of what we should do is not fun. So I hope this podcast is not going to be a downer for you, but I have to tell you about my experience in Auschwitz. It's going to be a narrow discussion, not a wide range discussion, because I want to talk about the thing that stayed with me for all these months. When I went to Auschwitz, you go there and there's a great big field with buildings in the back and train tracks and cars, and it's just like a kind of a desolate, although green grass, a desolate place. And I took this tour with about 25 other people. I think there was one couple from the U.S. The rest were from all over the place. And there are all kinds of images. It was a 6-hour tour, so there are clearly all kinds of images, but all the images are pretty crushing. What you see and what you hear is pretty crushing. But among all those crushing images I saw at Auschwitz, it was the hair that had the most immediate and lasting effect on me. Actual hair sheared from the heads of every man, every woman, and every child prisoner. And it wasn't just the head, they shaved every part of their body, not just their heads. That hair was disinfected and wound in balls and placed in net bags. And when I went to Auschwitz, we go into this big room, and it was a room full of hair. The hair was discolored by the years, but unmistakably it was human hair. Brown hair, gray hair, white hair. And the hair was behind plexiglass in this room, and I think the wall was like 15 or 16 feet long. The hair was piled up at least 5 feet, and the depth of the area in which the hair was kept was probably 8 feet. All this hair. It reminded me of many years ago when, maybe you, but we didn't go to the beauty salon to get our hair cut. We cut our own hair. My mother cut my hair for years and years, and then when I got to the point I could cut their hair, I cut my dad's hair, my mother's hair, my sister's hair, my brother's hair. I cut my children's hair for a while until they revolted. They said no more. Anyway, when I cut their hair, that hair fell to the floor. My dad's hair was red. My sister's hair was red. The red hair, the gray hair, and the light blonde hair fell to the floor when I swept it up and threw it in the waste paper basket. The hair that I saw at Auschwitz through that plexiglass window looks just like my family's hair. Looks just like my dad's hair. It looked just like my mother's hair and my children's hair. That hair that I threw away in that waste paper basket. I was lucky to be born in the United States, thousands of miles from that horrible war. And if I had lived in a variety of European countries in those years, I probably wouldn't be around. Prisoners of Auschwitz were captured from almost every country in Europe, even non-European countries. They were captured from Albania, from Belgium, from Greece, Hungary, Italy, Latvia, Romania, Spain, Switzerland, even from Argentina and China and Bulgaria, all over Europe. If I hadn't been born in the United States and born in Europe, I probably wouldn't be here. I could have been murdered, not just by the, World War II, but other wars in Europe. And I probably would have been murdered. My family would have been murdered. My neighbors would have been murdered. Now, it's only the sight of mounds and mounds of hair representing untold lives that were taunted and tortured to their deaths in Auschwitz. I was so moved. I was shocked when I saw that hair. And I fought back these tears. I didn't even hear what the tour guide was saying anymore because I was too emotional. I fought back the tears, and it was futile because I was crumbled into tears, and the tears streamed for like 20 minutes. I was trying to be quiet about it because I didn't want to upset or, disrupt the tour. But it was devastating to me. And you know what they did with that hair? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard. The hair was collected from all those prisoners, and they were shaved from head to toe, and all that hair was kept. And it was pressed into felt for boot liners for the prison guards, so that they could put it in their boots, so their feet were warm when they were walking through Auschwitz in the snow. The hair was spun into yarn to make warm socks so that the guards would have warm feet. Courteous, isn't it? The hair was also used to protect the camp guards from typhus, lice-carrying typhus. And I didn't get any photos of the hair, not that I would want to take photos of the hair, but out of a simple act of respect, the photos are forbidden in this section of the museum. And that's about all I can talk about in this 6-hour tour of Auschwitz. The words cannot in any way reflect my experience, any effort. Actually, this is kind of a futile effort to talk about the hair. Even the photos that I took, and there are a lot of photos you can see on DiannAbroad.com, the photos fall short of the experience that I had at Auschwitz. I just am so happy that I went. Was it fun? No. Was it devastating? Yes. Was I upset? Beyond. It's a little to be upset when thousands and thousands lost their lives. But it's important that I went. I wanted to feel, I wanted to see, I wanted to hear what happened. Wow. Sorry. So I'm lucky that I was able to do it. I don't want to forget it. I don't want anybody to forget it. My last name is Schindler, and in the United States years and years ago, they'd say, "What's your last name?" And I'd say Schindler, like the list, and they'd, "Oh yeah, Schindler." Now in Europe, they say, "What is your last name?" And I say Schindler, like the list, and they said, "Oh," and they understand. But in the United States, no more. When I say Schindler like the lists, nobody knows what I'm talking about. Like, I mean, not nobody, but, you know, the younger crowd. I remember a couple of years ago, I was at Harris Teeter grocery store, and I was going through the line, and the woman asked me my last name. The clerk asked me my cashier. I said, Schindler like the list. And she said, what? And I said, Schindler like the list. She didn't know. She said she was 24. I said, give you an assignment to read this book. Well, she didn't read the book, but she got the video. And I went back, and I was really impressed that she did indeed watch the video. So we can't forget what happens at Auschwitz. It's very important, and it's not old news, at least for me. So I want to thank you so much for listening to my podcast and listening. I hope this wasn't a sad story for you. It shouldn't be sad, because we have responsibilities, don't we? I have a responsibility in my world travel here. I've been traveling a year and a half, probably 15 countries now, and I'm so naive about the world, and I'm learning, and there's a lot to absorb, but I'm fortunate to be able to do this and write a little bit about it and take photos and let it sink in. It's a wonderful experience for me, and an opportunity for growth. So this is Diann at DiannAbroad.com. I hope that you will write to me at Diann at DiannAbroad.com. If you have any suggestions, go to my website, and you can look at the photos at Auschwitz and other things. Let me know what you think I should be podcasting about, writing about, how to improve, and all of that. I look forward to seeing you next time on the podcast. Thank you so much. Diann signing off.